different ways of getting into the position of Krieg, and also what to do when you're in Krieg. So first I was thinking of talking a little bit about the distances. So Zufechten is, as I said, the distance where you're furthest apart from your opponent. Basically, you need to take a step to reach your opponent. That's for me what Zufechten means. And then to get into the next distance, that is Krieg, where you're not as close so you can like grab your opponent and anything, but you can always hit your opponent with the blade. Then you're in Krieg, and the closest distance is of course Ringen, and Ringen is when you're able to actually like grab your opponent in some way or go into like a real like wrestling stance. So of course these are varying a little bit. You can stand pretty close and keep fighting with the swords. I would still say that you're in Krieg, but as soon as like you're closing the distance with the hands, you're in Ringen. But we're going to focus mostly on Krieg and the way from Zufechten to Krieg in this workshop. And to be able to do that, you need to know 4 other terms in the early German longsword, and they are called Nach, Indes, and Fühlen. And these 4 are something I put a lot of time into, and you can go to like events and no one says them. And for me, they're like the basic of all what is fencing. And 4 is to have the initiative, you can say. So, like, if you're the one in 4, you're the one that could apply pressure on your opponent. While when you're in Nach, that means after, you have to regain 4 to securely be able to attack your opponent. So you want to be in 4 because 4 is the position where you decide what can happen throughout the fight. And then you have Indes and Fühlen that are a little bit connected, like for a Nach. And it's Fühlen is like the feeling of how you can do it, and like what tricks to use to regain 4 from Nach. And Indes is when the time is right, like in Swedish, the samma, we can basically translate it. So using, so basically you could go in through the forslag, lose the forslag, and regain 4 by using Indes and Fühlen in like the next action or the action after that, etc., to regain 4 to be able to strike your opponent. Was that clear? Or was it super weird? Any questions about that? Okay, good. Everybody's super fancy now. So
it's basically hard on the modern side, but you start with the right of way, you lose the right of way when you get parried, and you regain the right of way when parry there.
Yes, except that we hate the right way.
Yes.
Yes. And we love the 4. Yeah. So, but in rough terms, yes, it's the fault of it. So and it's also a way to keep down the level of the number of double hits. Like no one gains from the double hits. You want to be the only one hitting. So like if I have like a high road straight to the head on someone and I kick him and he like smacks me on the leg in a real fight, I would get injured, he would be dead, and instead of he acknowledge that he is in the Nach and dealing with the system and trying to regain 4 to be able to knock me down when I'm in Nach.
Yeah, this is definitely right of way.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, the more advanced way. Yes. You want to have like the context that makes it's the context that could make the manuals more safe to fans. Like if you're meeting someone in an actual duel in the 15th century, you don't want him to just attack and close his eye and hope that he hits you. You want him to know that he's either in Nach or 4, and you want the bout to be clean so that you can come out alive and not super injured. So it's best both fencers apply to this system. You're kind of forced to apply it. Yes?
Could you quickly talk about the difference between the two in between, Indes and Fühlen?
Indes and Fühlen, yes. So Indes is basically like timing, when you feel that something, like when you should apply it, and Fühlen is the feeling of what you should do.
Okay.
Yes, that's how I interpret it. Yes, that's the difference. So that's why they're cut together the same way as Nach and 4, but they're not contrary to each other as Nach and 4 is. So, but they have you have to use both of them to get it right. Like, when he does this, I need to do a Zornhau, but you don't know when to do it. So you do a Zornhau in the air and it's smacked in the head because you did it too late or too early. Or yes, that's what Indes is. Yes, and Fühlen is known to do the Zornhau at the moment. Good. So the first thing we're going to talk about, the first way to try to get the 4 is to make a Vorschlag, meaning like a powerful cut that gives you the 4 directly from contact. So go for Zufechten, and then you get the 4 by simply applying pressure on your opponent with a cut. And you can do this with basically any cut. But today we're going to do it with a Zornhau. That's like the normal Oberhau from the right shoulder. We can spread out on a line with a little bit of distance in between. Okay, so the first we're going to do is we're going to make a proper Zornhau, as I would say, where we are cutting through the line from our right shoulder to our imaginary opponent's in front of us head. And we're going to do it by starting a chain reaction through our body, just as like a modern day boxer. And this is also an important part, according to the last lesson we had about fate. Yes, now we're going to do the exact opposite. We're not going to show anything until the hit comes. Just as like the normal boxer, the modern boxer, he's standing like this. He has the right punch. It comes from pushing his, using his like right foot, making a chain reaction through the body, pushing the hand forward together with the shoulder. So it goes from here, pow. We're going to do the exact same movement with the sword into a Zornhau, meaning that we're standing in a Nach with the sword on the right side, and from this position we're simply pushing together with the strength from our toes all the way up into our hands. And we're going to do this as fast and with as little help as possible. So we're not showing that we're cutting, we're trying to stand still, then it comes straight out. A few steps just to break down the movement. So if you do this really hard, really quick, you're going to be looking like something like that. I'm trying to basically get the hit in before my feet land. So it comes, if I do it in slow motion then, so it comes laid out and then comes the leg afterwards. Just like a tenth of a second afterwards, but still. Because the hand is actually faster than the leg in this movement. Like when I did kendo, we had a lot of emphasis on hitting at the same time as the foot, but I don't think that's important. By doing this, you get pressure to do it as well. So I simply want you to do this Vorschlag Zornhau forward, and just take a few steps, and you can turn around, look up backwards, and do a few of them. Yes. to do it with applying pressure on our opponent. So now we're not going to do like a specific technique or anything. We're just going to do a cut straight in against our opponent, applying pressure. It's not of that big importance if we hit each other now, but the thing is you should do this cut and control your opponent with your pressure. It's basically the thing that I'm looking for. Can I borrow you? På masket. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut against him, and his job is simply meeting my blade and trying like not parrying like this, but like parrying, like putting pressure back on me simply. So and there's two things I can do. I can either hit him because I'm too fast, or I can hit his blade and then try to apply pressure to his head. Then it's going to look like this. So all the way up to from down. Yes, good. Okay. So, and here are the two like different versions. Start with try to go in. Now you see he pushes me to the side. Then I will have a hard time doing the pressure thing. Like from this position, I would normally do something else, like putting in a close range technique or like going into ringen instead. But if he pushes more straight forward to me, so it's meeting me here, then I can start like applying pressure on it. And this is what I'm out for now. At this moment, I'm not in ringen yet, because then I have to. So this is like the distance I'm looking for, and the best thing for me is either to hit him directly, so if like I'm coming through his cut, or trying to press through. Now when I'm so close down at his strong part, it's going to be very hard. Let's say that he has his sword a little bit further down, then I could actually press through. So I want you, both the person making the parry and the person doing the cut, to feel a little bit different, like where you put the blade. So this is a technique where you could always like block out the person because you know exactly what's happening, but instead keep your hands a little bit further down so that your opponent has the ability to apply pressure and simply just put it to the head. Okay, good. 2 and 2. And we applied pressure. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use one technique after this one. So like if someone parries like this, okay, then go to the other side. If someone parries very like straightforward, then maybe you could tilt the sword back and do a winden or whatever. But you're allowed to do one technique after hitting, and the techniques are basic like Zornhau techniques. You have the winden, you have the Duplieren, Mutieren, and you can go around using. Okay, so I'm using a lot of fancy words, but I'm going to show them as well. And you can use like your cross guard or your pommel to move around your opponent's blade if someone pushes you way out. But we're just going to do like one technique from this position. So I can borrow someone. Yes. Yes. And gloves. Okay, so we start out exactly the same. So I'm coming in with the cut, now applying pressure. So like if I hit him straight away, then it's fine. Then you go out and you restart. Or you come in and you apply pressure and you hit, fine, then you hit, okay? But let's say I'm coming in, I'm applying pressure, and okay, that's not going to work, but this one is. And I can do a Mutieren, for example, or Auswinden, that some people kind of like to tell. If you have a pressure that's more forward to me, for example, then I can reuse it and go for a winden technique, or I don't know, go in with a Duplieren of some kind, or a more straightforward Duplieren, using it, crossing in, but still try to do it as you want to cut him in the head at first, then applying pressure, then the technique. So you look for your opening, where you see the opening. If you do like a little bit more extra parrying to the side, then I like use my arms to go down and cut him across the face or such. Or as much as he did now, then I could just cut around simply and maintain Krieg, because there I was like bordering Ringen distance. So.
But we can grab as well.
Yes, yes. But it's just one technique, so it's not like if you miss that one, no, 4 more, no, one technique. Okay, and it's your choice what to do.
And I guess we should put the jackets like everything right?
If you want, or you take it slow, take it easy with it. We don't have to. We should always fence with enough constraints, so you always can like stop a counter or such. Now you. Sometimes we go into Ringen distance, but most of the time we stay in Krieg distance. And Krieg is basically what we're going to try to keep doing for the rest of this workshop. The next thing I was thinking, I was going to try to teach you is how to use a practice to learn how to regain for when you basically isn't the one making the perfect forslag. So this is an exercise where when we do it, we usually do it like 5 times each and change turns. But it works like this, that one person is, and this is like the part I don't like, that one person is a little bit like the zombie, and the other one is the one actually doing the exercise. But in this one, I see it like the one being the Mr. Zombie guy is practicing straight, nice cuts. So he's actually allowed to do both cuts and thrust, but no feints or no techniques. He's not allowed to back up. He's allowed to move forward or stop, but never to take a step backwards, because then this exercise won't work.
The other one doing the exercise, he's going to get attacked from an opponent who has an unlimited number of attacks against him, but his job is to hit him without getting hit. And that's the most important, not getting hit in this exercise. So basically it usually goes like the two persons going in against each other. The dummy starts attacking, the other one backs up, and during this time, sometimes that the defender will get the attack in when the time is right, using Indes and Fühlen, and turning the table around and getting the strike. There are three ways of doing this. Either you take like a long shot, you hit him from afar, like take a parry and cut, like parry riposte, or with like a small like, or just like using, if he cuts at you and you back up and you're moving your sword and he thinks he's going to hit the sword, but he doesn't and you're hitting instead, that's one way. The second way is doing it with like a lock of some kind. Like he cuts in, I go winden and stab him in the face. Or like an upset and thrust or similar. And the third one is actually some kind of grapple or grabbing the blade. So he cuts in, I grab the blade, whack. Then I hit him. I can borrow Alexander again. So we're going to go slow at the beginning, but the exercise is actually full speed exercise. So we start at this distance, and his job is like to try to get attacks in on me, and as I said, you're not allowed to back up, but you are allowed to walk forward or to stop, and you have plain attacks, cuts and thrusts, basically. My job is to hit him without getting hit. So if you start attacking at me, simply, I can maybe go here and maybe I try to find a gap somewhere and go through, we take it again. So the different styles I was talking about, like the easy one is to try to get him either very fast or at the right moment with like distance works. So you start attacking me. Oh, and then I hit the hand. Yeah, that was finger. Yeah, good. Yeah, but then you see, like I took I used the tempo to hit him between his attacks, basically. Or I can do it with like some kind of lock. So he's attacking me. Oh, not a good lock. Yeah. But not a good lock, but can do it again. So I simply stop him off with some kind of lock, a Duplieren, a winden technique, or something similar. Or the third alternative is that I simply try to either grab him or a sword or similar. So he attacks. And yeah, I don't need to comment on that. So. But and there we're simply putting us in a position where we start as in Nach, and he comes in with his big attacks, and we're trying to find the position where we can turn it. You could turn it directly with answering with a good forslag. I do this sometimes, like if he comes in, straightforward. This is also a possibility, but it's better to let him start working on you so you more practice like the turning point. Good. Yes, pair up and that's you want to go this?
Tack var först det jag sa där. Nu ger vi en komplimang. Ja. Fortsätter. Det funkar, men det funkar. En gång till. Det är bra. Okej. Jag tänker efter lite här. Inte det. Det är lite också. Okej.
I mean, I think that that's a bit
Like
that we're going to stay with, like, just as if we would have cut into each other. We were standing here, so now we're in Krieg. Because we do reach each other with just like the sword, if we want. And from this position, we go 3, 2, 1, and from here, it's basically almost free sparring. But the thing is, we should always keep within the distance of Krieg, and the first hit, like not the wins, but like you break after the first hit. So basically, I'm standing here, and here's the funny thing, because you can do so much difference. You can start by applying pressure, or you could directly shift and turn and try to hit someone someplace else, or you can go for us, or you can. So it's basically your imagination is the only thing keeping you back here. But you're not allowed to step with. So both of you go out into like Zufechten distance. We can do a little bit slow here first because I don't have gear. So we start here and we go 3, 2, 1, and then and then like that exercise is over, that exchange is over, and then you redo it, and you do it over and over and over again. Hopefully, what I want to see is a lot of like parry-riposte or pressure work. That's what I want to see the most. Like if we're standing here and I start to like pressure and you push it to the side, I go here, I go there, you will cut over somewhere I don't need, and I like take a parry, and yeah. So the longer we can keep these ones going, the better it is, basically. But we always start with the bind and the like small countdown, and then you start. That gives you a big opportunity of like different variations of how to deal with this situation. Yes, we call this exercise within Krieg. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Pair up, new pairs, and try it. Yes.
And you circle?
Yes.
Okay.
and make a Zornhau each into the bind and start. So it's like 3, 2, 1, boom, and then we start. This will give you a bit more to work on, to work with, basically. Borrow you? Yeah, just a few seconds. So, we start here, and we cut in, and directly from there we can launch, looking for the openings and the parries, etc., etc. So, if you come in, it could be a pressure game, but it could also be just a bounce, and so it's easier to go to some places that were harder in the exercise we did, but some things are maybe harder to come to as well. You will feel this out a little bit, but try it out. Okay, questions about it? Good.
Oh, do we try to hit with the first cut?
No, the first cut is meant to be exactly the same. So it's the only thing you can earn from that cut is like being the one with pressure or the one without pressure. But it should so you can't go in and do like, aha, I did the Zufechten instead or anything. But you have to do the Zornhau, and it's supposed to create the distance of Krieg or
and hit to the.
No, you don't really try to hit each other. So it's but it is okay to go in here and then just directly thrust from that position. That's okay, but you're not. But the actual cut is not aimed at your opponent in this situation. Yes, it's just to create a different opening than you had before. It's going to be similar, but you will notice that it's kind of different. Yes. Okay. Change partners.
Ja, alltså med tanke på att det är så